the WFN Extra Time Podcast. I am your host, Hooligan J. Broom, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, my handle is Hooligan Broom. With us tonight is Bex Nolan. How are you, Bex?
I'm fantastic, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I'm not gonna shout out my Twitter name today just because.
Oh, be different. Fine.
Starting to
Okay.
get a few weirdos following you.
I like my 320 followers or however many I have.
Oh, you got
Okay.
yes. Her crew is very exclusive, so that's gonna stay that way.
Fair enough. Also with us tonight is Miss Louise K. How are you doing, Louise?
Hey, I'm very, very good, thank you, very good. You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Miss Louise K.
And
All
her
right.
predictions are already up.
Yeah, I did them especially because obviously I'm doing the podcast today, so I thought I'd get them out of the way.
There you
Cool.
go. Check them out,
Awesome.
guys.
And also with us is the crippled Bobby Pooh.
Soon to be.
No, he's already crippled.
Yeah, I'm already
and
crippled.
I'm not talking about mentally. He's actually crippled now.
Oh, okay, that's what I was talking about. But anyway, go ahead.
Ha ha ha. This is Bobby, and you can follow me at septic_Dooner on Twitter if you want to have just read any silly tweets that I normally put on here.
Spurs supporters need not apply.
I don't know, I kind of wanted to have a Spurs follower this year, but he quit at the first week.
Well, and more to that, I met a Tottenham supporter yesterday at work. Said he's been supporting the club since '62, and we actually got along for one reason. We were talking football, and he goes, "Let me ask you something. How much do you hate Adebayor and think he's a joke?" And I said, "Okay, we're going to get along fine then."
Yeah.
Find something in common and you're good.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, guys. First of all, Manchester Derby. I'm going to start with Louise on this one.
I didn't expect it, or I wanted Man United to win, to be honest. But I think it's the same with every derby game. The derby games are just so random. It's just like when Arsenal play Spurs and that, it can go one way or the other because it's like derby games I think are a lot more heated. I mean, it doesn't make a great deal of difference. Like for Manchester United, I don't really think losing that game. I guess it would have been nice, but I would have preferred them to win just because I just can't stand City at all. I really don't like them.
Yeah, and I think that's right. The rules on Derby Day are out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Fu, what do you think?
But I, to be honest with you, I think the hype is not matching what the football is supposed to be. Neither team could complete a pass, I thought, or string any sort of passing together. And, when you look at that midfield of Manchester City, you expect them to at least complete 2 or 3 passes. And then, of course, I saw Aguero's winner, which I just went, gosh, Phil Jones was doing his best Senderos impression of feet and mud. That has got to be, it looked like, do you remember all those times? You remember the look on Senderos' face when Drogba used to get the ball and look at Senderos and just go, you realize I'm going to drag this around you and beat you to the far post and score.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, I'm just going to score. And that's what Aguero did. I'm not taking away anything from the fact that, the match was hard fought and Mike Dean got a little card happy at the end and all that sort of stuff. But it was, but to be honest with you, to have a winner like that and, away from home, at least gaining some sort of revenge on the first fixture from this year, it was pretty gripping. I don't think it's going to make any difference in the title race, but the second half was worth watching.
Bex, what's your say?
I wanted Man United to win just because City basically bought their talent, but on paper, City are the better team with the individuals. Both teams looked up for it. It was end to end. I watched the whole game. It was end to end at the beginning of the game. It looked like it was going to be a fantastic game, but City did create more chances in open play during the game. The only time United looked dangerous was when they had a set piece. So City deserved to win. I don't want to say that, but City deserved to win. But I'm sure United felt robbed and bitter anyway, because no one likes to lose against Man City, especially when it's your rival. So
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is Dre Foote. I'd like to chime in a little bit too. This was my team, Manchester United, and I too watched the entire game. I thought it was. Fu has a point. It wasn't a real classic, but I think what was at stake made it very interesting. The pride of Manchester, and what we saw was a very tense game. And just to Beck's point, I think that City, who had more possession overall in the entire game, I think they did create more of the chances. But United, they gave as much as they were taking, and they were looking more dangerous, not only on set pieces, in my opinion, but on the break. And with Valencia and Ashley, I think that they had something going, but they could not get that final third ball where it needed to go. And, eventually that's the downfall that they had. But United's defense has been really pretty solid of late. And I thought they had done enough. And then Aguero, who I thought Phil Jones had pretty much pushed out to the side. He had run him, out away from the goal. But Aguero falling back nails a beauty. And there's nothing De Gea could have done to stop that. It was just a wonderful strike. And that was the difference in the game. I thought the teams were relatively even. Again, like Beck said, City has the individual talent over United. United, I think, are a better team overall, a cohesive unit than City are. But I tell you, the one thing that I take away from the match is if City can get a real manager next season, they're going to be dangerous. And I think that is the big thing. If Mancini stays, I think you'll get more of the same kind of sputtering flashes of brilliance, but also flashes of nothingness too. But I enjoyed the game. I was gutted by the result. City, did they win? Did they deserve it? Possibly, but I think a draw would have been a more fair result in my mind. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, I disagree with you.
From an American, sorry to chime in, but don't Americans typically hate ties? Like they always want a winner or high goal scoring games, and you're saying you would have been happy with a draw.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Yeah. Because I'm a football fan, not an American football fan. True. That's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the Yanks on this particular podcast, a draw is fine with me. Sometimes a draw means you had two equal teams and they fought it out. Other times it can mean you had two equally horrible teams and neither of them could find the back of the net. Just depending on what you're talking about. I'm always okay with the draw. Sometimes at the end of the year, draw's all right with me.
Especially what it means in a title race or a fight for survival. It can be the difference between the drop or title.
Absolutely. But moving on from this, we got another derby coming up. Northeast Derby.
In honor of Kurt Hunt.
Yeah. We got Sunderland and the thieving bastards of Newcastle. I'm really I'm not very optimistic for them. I really hope Sunderland wins, but I think I'm rooted in reality that unless the emotion takes over, Newcastle is going to outplay them. They got injuries, and I don't think their spirits are very high over there. And I think if they lose this one, they're going to be fighting for survival, which is sad to say because, they're a good lot and they have a lot of history. But I think they're facing the drop if they can't win this one. I actually want to send this to Fu first. Fu, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. With all the injuries that Sunderland have up front, the best they could hope for is a draw. And to be fair, the goal was pretty sublime that Newcastle scored to beat Fulham. But, they're also not that good, to be honest.
No, they're
not playing well at all. They got completely destroyed by Benfica. Destroyed. Obviously, the long season's finally taken a toll on Newcastle. But who knows? It's a derby. Anything can happen, much like yesterday. Do I want to see Sunderland stay up? Sure. I would love to see Sunderland stay up. I can't say I'm a fan of Paolo Di Canio as the person, but I'm a fan of him. It's exciting to have someone who runs off with a mouth in the Premier League. You know, as much as I hate Harry Redknapp, he's great for a sound clip. I'm going to miss him when he's down in the championship with QPR.
I knew that was coming.
No.
It's terrific. I'm sure he carries a cardboard with him wherever he goes so he can roll the window down, talk out of it instead of like a normal person.
Bex, what's your say on this?
I don't want to make any enemies, but I'm gonna choose.
Oh, come on.
Sorry. I'm gonna choose Newcastle because I don't know. Did you see Pardew's celebration against Fulham? Like, he was proper pumped. They were absolutely loving it. They needed those points. I think they're gonna be able to dig deep. I don't know if Sunderland have got what it takes. Sorry.
No, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and again, you know, rooted in reality, I don't think Sunderland has what it takes either right now. I would like to see them win, but I think Newcastle is going to overcome them. Louise, what do you think?
Yeah, I predicted that Newcastle would win 2-0, just because, like, with what's going on at Sunderland, I just don't think there's not going to have any drive in them, and they're not even with their new manager and stuff. Although just from looking at the table, there is only like a 5-point gap between them and Newcastle. It's not actually, I mean, obviously 5 points is quite a lot at the end of the season. It's still sort of quite close. But yeah, I still don't think they're going to win. I still think Newcastle are definitely going to win. I'd be so surprised if Sunderland managed to pull this one back.
Again, I don't. It was the wrong time to get rid of a manager over there. There was too much at stake, and getting rid of a manager in that position is just not the wisest thing. Again, you know, I hate to talk smack on my own countrymen, but American owners, they just don't get it. And, you know, if you're going to have an American, you need to put your ego in check and step aside and let someone that understands the football be a figurehead and let someone else run it. Because that's just a poor decision. And I just don't feel like that guy consulted anyone and just did a knee-jerk decision and fired O'Neill. And I just don't think it was wise at the end of the day. But what the hell do I know? Let's go into the past week's action. Bex, any game you want to talk about in particular?
Are you referring to Leeds and them losing again, or are you wanting me to talk about? I mean, I'm not angry or anything, or annoyed, or you know, over it by any means. But
no. We can speak on Leeds. Any other games you watched? Feel free. Let it flow.
Well, Leeds, I mean, they got a recharge now, right, Bex? They got rid of Warnock, and then they got a caretaker in there. So now it's kind of a rewind and restart now for the club, right?
I mean, I thought it would be, but I went on the website yesterday and we're plagued with injuries, dropping the game against Derby County, and we've got Sheffield Wednesday this weekend, which is a massive rivalry. I just don't know. I don't know if we've got the players. I think we need to pull the U16s up or something. I mean, you remember James Milner at 15 years old making his debut for Leeds, and Aaron Lennon when he was like 16 or 17. Maybe we need to pull the youth kids up again and just let them have fun, because apparently we ain't got enough players in the senior side to get the job done. So we're pulling people back that have torn ACLs, and you know, this is their first or second game back, and let's hope they make it. You know, I mean, that's obviously a dramatic version, but it's what I've been reading on the website. So who knows about Leeds? I mean, we lost last week, but some games that I thought were pretty good last week were, or I was more annoyed at QPR. I mean, like they do, they're going down. They're going down. I mean, they're not going to be able to survive anymore, but their season in a nutshell is working their backsides off to get a goal and then just giving up stupid mistakes to concede them, which will either cost them the 3 points or cost them 2 points to only give them 1. So I just, you know, QPR was just, I mean, that was frustrating for me.
Oh, I thought that game was awesome.
Oh,
I was waiting for the collapse. I went, they can't hold this. They can't hold this. And then Tarat, instead of manning up and taking one for the team to the head, he turns and lets it in.
yep.
If he takes one for the team square in the nose, they're winning. But no.
He flinched.
He flinched. And what happened? His keeper was expecting the wall to work because he watched it. He knew where the ball was going, and then whoop, right through. Nothing he could do. Back of the net. I don't know. But I agree with you. QPR is frustrating to watch. Comical as it may be, at the same time, even being a neutral, I'm like, Jesus, why can't y'all just hold something? And then I watch their players run around the pitch and flail. I'm like, you guys, come on. Something's got to give. Louise.
Obviously, I was very, very happy because I got the Arsenal West Brom score dead on, which is pretty cool. It's good. And it was also good to see that Spurs Everton as well. It's disappointing that they didn't lose, but it's kind of nice to see that they're kind of throwing away points. And Arsenal finally winning, so hopefully that's gonna. I mean, Spurs aren't playing this weekend, but Arsenal have still got a game in hand, and what is it? Only 2 points now, I think. So
Yep.
it's
Everton should have
starting
won.
to
Everton
actually
should have won
look.
against Spurs.
2 points out of third.
Yeah. In all reality, Arsenal could be sitting in third by the end of the weekend.
It's good. It's really, really good. A few weeks ago, I think we was screwing about fourth, but now it's kind of becoming realistic. We might have actually done something. So
And what will Wenger say to the press when they finish in third place?
yeah,
What do you think?
Do one.
I hope he just
Two
drops
fingers.
trow and shows him the ass.
Yeah.
Go ahead and kiss it.
Yeah. Well, I'll move it over to Fu. Fu, give us the rundown. Since you're crippled,
Well,
that's all you got to do anyway.
yeah, right. I got a club foot, so who knows?
Yeah.
Actually, Villa beating Stoke at home. I think we're seeing the end of Stoke City in the Premier League. That's my third team for the drop.
Really?
That's my third team for the drop. I'm going to stand by it. I think 38 points is what teams need for survival. I don't think Stoke are going to get 38 points out of their last 7 matches. Even though they're on 34 right now, they have absolutely zero up front. They have a midfield. Anytime you have Charlie Adam in your midfield, you might as well just throw in the towel. I'm sure there are plenty of Scotsmen that are way better than him that could be playing for Stoke, but they're not. But that was really my favorite part because, like I said in my tweets earlier this week, God, it would really be really great if they took that long throw and stupid Tony pulled his hat and sent him back down to the championship. Of course, he could quit. It'd be funny if he quit, so he could say, "I've never been demoted before." Because that's all they're touting in the press over there. Oh, he's never been relegated before from any team that he's ever managed. Yeah, but what does that mean? Neil Warnock still gets jobs, and so does Harry Redknapp, and he's bankrupted 3 teams. How does that happen?
I don't know how that happens.
I think, well, I'll tell you why. It's because he's English, and that's the only reason why. Hate to be xenophobic like that, but, Michael Laudrup, instead of getting a team in the second division or something like that, he actually got Swansea City in the Premier League. And it's not like he lit up the Spanish league with his managing or anything like that. He did keep Mallorca up for 2 years, which is probably something nobody's ever done.
Right.
But, heck, I would have coached there for free for the rest of my life. Look, just buy me a house. I'll stay in the islands forever. I don't want to leave. Please don't send umbrella in it. Please don't send me back to Denmark where it's cold 8 months a year. Please.
Villa Stoke. I would like to see Stoke Rugby Club go to 3rd division or, go over to 7s or something. I don't know. I just don't like, while the style of their football may grind it out, it's definitely not anything I like to look at. All right. Coming up fixtures. Saturday we got Arsenal and the Canaries at home. If we get a solid with their heads screwed on Arsenal coming out on the pitch, I think that's a no-brainer win for us. If we get a team that remembers their last win, I think Norwich can do us in, but I'm gonna go with Arsenal. What's y'all say?
Yeah, I think I said 2-0 to Arsenal, so I really think we've got this game.
Okay.
Fingers crossed anyway.
Okay. Bex?
Yeah, I'm going for Arsenal. It would be nice to see them third and just have some of their fans, eat their words. And
Yeah.
I just think, I mean, it's funny how the fans are the first ones to complain about their own team or whatever, but I'm going with Arsenal. I just don't think Norwich have it in them.
Yep. Fu?
Oh, we doing predictions? Oh, I think we can put up a rugby try on Norwich City. To be honest with you,
it's possible, but again, if history proves anything, it's that when Arsenal has a good week the week before and they remember the good week and come out on the pitch remembering the good week, like they can just repeat it out of thin air, we have a tough game. If we come out,
I'm gonna be honest with you. We're playing at home against Norwich City. No, we should win 4 or 5-0 easy. I don't think Norwich. Listen, Norwich isn't playing at home. Which, by the way, I said Norwich would draw with Swansea last week, and they did. Even though Chris Houghton was hard done by a couple of calls, but still, Norwich at home is a different. Norwich away is a way different story. Norwich away is absolutely god awful.
Okay. Well, moving on, we got Villa and Fulham,
Oh.
and they're at Villa Park. I kind of like to see Fulham take that, and I think they will. But then again, I don't know. Villa's pretty bad, but Fulham's Jekyll and Hyde. So I don't even know. I'm just gonna say a draw and not even give a number prediction. I don't know what the hell can happen with those two.
I've put for 1-0 to Fulham, so.
Okay.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really know. All I do is I look at the league and just kind of see whereabouts they are, whether they've been winning or not, and then just make a guess. So.
That's all you can do with that match.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next?
Bex? Oh, that's right. Go
ahead. My prediction for Villa Fulham is I think it's actually surprisingly going to be a good game, but I am pipping Fulham to get all 3 points. Score-wise, I don't know, maybe 2-1.
Okay.
Berbatov with a brace.
Hell no. I want Benteke to score. Well, Villa have almost the exact record home and away, but Fulham are poor away from home. So I think Benteke gets a brace and beats Fulham. Ha ha ha. Because he's on my fantasy team and he gives me points every week.
Nanny boo boo.
Isn't he the leading scorer now in the Premier League?
In his own mind, I'm sure he is.
I think Benteke is the leading scorer now.
Are you
in the Premier
kidding me?
League. No, I'm not.
Let me
wait a minute here.
Yeah, it could be.
Nah, he's only got 15. Never mind.
Yeah, don't do that to me. Had me going to sell me a bridge in Brooklyn.
Okay, we also got Everton QPR. I'm taking Everton on that, hands down. I'm gonna say 3-0 Everton. I say Everton just hammers them. They're at home. I say they hammer them.
Yeah, I put 2-0, so I pretty much agree with that.
Okay. Bex?
Yep, I agree with Louise.
What
2-0?
about the redknapp factor?
What about it?
Just want to hear what you say about it.
What is he going to Twitch for us?
You never know. He's going to put that Russian bloke on, right?
He's going to come out with this speaking spell.
Yeah.
Fu, what do you say?
Everton's only lost once this year at home, but they've dropped points over the last 3 weeks. The defending hasn't been very good, but they get Fellaini and Pinar back in the midfield, which should definitely help out their defense a little bit. And who knows, maybe they'll give Phil Neville a going away present and keep him in the top 6 before he retires.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
He says he wants to keep on playing.
No, well, I thought he said to retire. He's retiring at the end of the year.
He's leaving Everton at the end of the year.
No, I think
That's
he's going to
what I heard.
retire.
Well.
No, he's going to retire.
Okay.
Who else? I mean, gosh, I don't know how he still has a job, but David Moyes has gotten the most out of him. Well, let's face it, Tony Adams wasn't supposed to have a job back in 1998. And he still had a job. We won the double, so, I can't say anything.
True that. Okay, and next we got Reading, Liverpool. I'm actually going to take Reading.
No.
Because I'm I'm taking Reading.
But how could you even say that? That's insane.
Because I think they're all going to pump themselves full of anabolic steroids, and they're going to come down the pitch, and they're all going to be Incredible Hulk, and someone's just going to give Suarez a nice kick to the minerals and drop him. They're not going to even try to play the football. Someone's going to eat the red card and just give him a nice kick to the minerals, and Suarez isn't going to play the same the rest of the game.
Oh, God.
That's what I think.
I really wish
No. I say 2-0 to Liverpool.
Okay. Bex?
I want to say 3-0 Liverpool, and I hope the floodgates open.
Okay. Fu?
I mean, it's about time Suarez broke out of his scoring drought, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I don't see Reading going down. There's no chance of them getting 15 points in the last few matches. As hard as it sounds, but and I really don't want Liverpool to win. You know what I want to say? I want to say it's going to be a draw, like 1-1. Lafondra is going to get like a goal in like the 88th minute because Daniel Agger and Reyna collide or something. That would be like my dream. Yeah, I'll go for a draw.
Okay.
Just to throw some boo in the game.
Okay. Next up, we got Southampton and the old Irons. That's actually is
that Southampton?
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to take Southampton on that one.
Yeah, they're like pretty much level in the league. I've put a 1-0 draw, so I think it's going to be a tough one. But I think Southampton. I think Southampton are more likely to win, but I have put a draw down on my predictions.
Yeah, I just have a soft spot for West Ham, but I think Southampton is going to take that one. Bex?
I have a soft spot for West Ham too. It's right between my testicles and my anus.
Oh, what
the gooch
cannot be unheard.
Sorry, I didn't swear.
I
didn't swear.
Technically, no.
I don't like Sam Allardyce. What can I say? He's another merchant of death that doesn't deserve a job in the Premier League. Good grief.
I'm sorry,
man. I still got this horrible picture in my mind.
So Southampton to win. Southampton to win. How about that? Thank you.
Okay. Bex?
Southampton have been playing the better football, so I want Southampton to win. I think it's going to be 2-1.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to say I agree with that scoreline, Bex. That sounds about right. Then Sunday we got the Northeast Derby. I think we already touched on that. Being reality based and taking Newcastle on that as much as we all may hate it.
I would like to point out something. Since Kurt isn't here, he wrote a really nice article about the Northeast Derby called "The Day the Northeast Stands Still." It's on the World Footy Net site at www.worldfooty.net. If you get a chance, take a look at it. You really get a feel for the passion of this derby, and Kurt really does feel like it is the derby of the country, even more so than the Manchester Derby, the London derbies, and you'll see why in his wording of his article. So take a look at that if you could.
Yeah, go ahead and throw that to my Tumblr too, please.
Will do.
And then also Sunday we got Stoke and Man United. Who on Man United is going to come out with the broken leg? I think that's the real question we're all asking ourselves. Who will Stoke attempt to massacre? It seems like they pick someone on the other team every week. I'm going to go for Nanny with the broken leg. But I'm going to take Man U 3-1 for the win. Maybe
I put 2-1. So yeah.
Okay, Bex.
Yeah, I think United are a little bit annoyed that they lost, and they do want to win. I mean, they're out of the Champions League, they're out of the FA Cup. I think they want to win the Premier League by as many points as possible. So I'm predicting a couple of goals from Rooney and Van Persie. So I'm going 3-0.
Okay, Fu.
Gosh, who do I want to see? Gosh, let me count the ways of who I hate the least on this team.
Yeah.
This collection of teams. Let's see here. Charlie Adam, Shawcross. Gosh, that's a no strikers to be heard of, and of course Chicharito for United, and Van Persie, and cleverly the next Jack Wilshere, even though Wilshere's only 20. Let's see here. Phil Jones, Rio Ferdinand. No, actually, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's at United, right?
No,
that's United.
No, it's at Stoke.
Wow.
Stadium.
Yeah, it's at Britannia.
Well, since I said I wanted Stoke to go down, I guess United will win. Although I don't see Van Persie scoring, therefore breaking the longest goalless drought in the Premier League history. Okay. Not held by the hero, Emil Heskey, but held by Fernando Torres.
The legend, Heskey. Please get it right.
He is a legend. He and Darren Bent both.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Okay, moving on from that, we got a Tuesday match and Wednesday matches this week.
Oh, yeah, I haven't done them yet. I was going to do them on Monday.
Well, we're just going to
totally screwed up my fantasy stuff, too.
Yeah, we're just going to go ahead and touch on it. Tuesday, we got Arsenal and Everton. And as much as I hate to say this, I'm going to say even though we're at home, I think it's going to be a draw.
Arsenal's going to win that game.
Yeah, I think 1-0 Arsenal.
Arsenal's going to win that game.
Well, I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. I understand why everyone would say we'll win it, but I'm going to say 1-1 draw. Bex, what do you think?
Yep, I agree with that one.
Draw?
Yep.
So our two, we got 2 draws, 2 for an Arsenal win. Louise, Fu, explain yourselves.
Well, I just think
we're going to win.
Yeah, why would I? I don't really think there's been many times I've actually predicted against Arsenal because I'm a bit of an optimist. But yeah, especially if we win this weekend, I think we've definitely got the strength to win the next game. Like Everton, it's not, they're doing well, but yeah, I can't see any reason why we won't beat them, to be honest. I can't understand why you're saying Everton will win. So.
Not win, draw.
I would draw. Oh, sorry. No. I don't know. I still think we'll win. Positive thinking.
Okay. Fu?
Oh, we're going to win. If we destroy Norwich City, we're going to carry that over. I could see us putting another 6 or 7-0 on that team. To be honest with you, that would be just like our season. We would crap until February, and then all of a sudden go, oh, you know what? We need to play Champions League football next year. We're out of all the cups. Let's go ahead and start playing now and winning, and winning big, and dominating teams. So, yeah, I think 2-0 or 3-0 would be a great win for Arsenal on Tuesday. Put us 4 points clear of the scum.
Well, no, that would be nice.
Because they don't play again until like the 20th, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I say draw for this reason. Everton plays more physical than we do. I think, as far as style and the way we move the ball, we're far ahead of Everton. But I think they're going to pound us physically. And that annoys this Arsenal team. They don't like to be touched or hit. And, we don't have Wilshere out there right now to, step up to people. And the rest of the team just doesn't step to anyone. So that's why I say draw, because I think they'll come out and try to pound us physically. I could be wrong. But moving right along. Wednesday, we got Man City Wigan. I think can we all agree on the result of that? Wigan?
No, Wigan's going to win.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wigan's gonna come out and stuff it down their throat.
Really?
No, I'm going with City on this one.
I think Wigan comes out and stuffs it down their throat. I think
that would be nice, but no.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to retract what I said. Even though their last 5 away, they've gotten 6 points out of 15. It isn't terrible, but it isn't great. No, okay, I'll take a Wigan 1-0 win with Coney scoring the winner.
Yep. Okay.
That'd be great. And then they can haul him off before the hog for crimes against humanity.
Okay. Moving right along, we got West Ham United.
Oof.
I think United wins that hands down, no problem. It's an easy game for them.
I think United wins out the rest of the season.
Yeah. Anyone disagree with that one?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends. If they win the title before they get to the Emirates, they could lose one match. But other than that, no.
And then that last game is Fulham Chelsea. I'm going to be an absolute optimist and say Fulham takes it.
Where's it at?
Craven Cottage.
Craven.
Ooh.
See, Chelsea haven't been doing that well. I think Fulham will make them fight for it. I wouldn't like to say what I think the score will be, but I don't think it's going to be clear cut.
And remember, Chelsea's only concerned about the cups now.
Yeah, they are.
Right. So that's why I'm saying I think.
Just like Angry said.
Yeah, I think Fulham takes it. 2-1. We'll see, though.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, guys, our question of the week comes from Matt Paget, at Matt_Paget69, and he asked us the controversy surrounding handballs and what constitutes a handball. Should the laws on handball be looked at?
No.
No? We
Really?
got one no immediately.
Enough said.
I mean, a handball in the box, if you jump or lunge and your arms come out of the way and the ball hits your arm, sorry, but it's a handball. I mean, it's just, if you put your hand over your face in the box to block because the ball's coming at your face, it's a handball. Take one in the nose, like you said earlier on with Pretty Boy, what's his face at QPR, Barat. Yep. Not taking one in the face. It's a handball. I mean, it's just, I think the rule's pretty simple, common knowledge. It's a handball.
I would agree with that. You see some of the you see some of the more professional defenders, when they're lunging a little bit, their hands are behind their back like they are at military parade rest because they don't want to get called for it. And sometimes when those guys get hit, in the upper arm with it, which could be construed as a handball, the ref sees it's obvious that it was unintentional, and that's just where it happened to hit him, and they let it go.
Yeah.
Versus the guys that, are flailing like they're doing jumping jacks, and it hits them, more or less in the armpit. They get called for the handball. Their arms are up. I agree fully. A handball is a handball is a handball. Fu?
Well, there's a lot. I think it's a valid question because it's still a referee opinion-driven call. The laws of the game say ball to hand is not handball in a natural position, which means basically your arms are at your sides.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But typically, I think Cesc Fabregas had a handball called him one time. He was in the wall and he had his arm over his face, and the ball hit his arm. Of course, then again, I've also seen other teams not get that called on them. But it's still a judgment call. I don't know where that guy's from. The questioner is from, but I think that's what Chris Hoyden said after the Swansea match, is because I think there were two handballs in the box that should have been called against Swansea City, and they weren't. And it's still a referee-driven opinion.
Right.
And as hard as that sounds, people make mistakes all the time. Everyone makes mistakes. That's what makes football exciting. The Malaga game today, everyone was offside on the last 3 goals of the match. So, to be honest with you, frankly, it should have stayed 1-1 and that'd have been it. But it wasn't, and Dortmund go through. But, it's, I think, to be honest, you really can't change anything about it. And that's my opinion.
Okay, Louise?
Yeah, I'm not really up with all this kind of technical stuff. I won't lie. I just think it's a bit, the rules and stuff, it's just getting all a bit too complicated and the refs are making silly decisions over things like handballs and that. And I just think it's going to be one of them things that people will never agree on. If someone gets a handball, there'll be 10 people saying it wasn't, and vice versa. And I just think it's one of them things that's just going to be open to debate. No matter, I've seen so many where I think, no, that wasn't deliberate. I don't really know what you like, but I don't play football, so I couldn't really sort of give an accurate comment, to be honest. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, if we want to get into what's getting silly, it's not allowing the flow of play. People are getting cards and whatnot for hip checks. The games are being called different than they were 20 years ago.
They gotta stop with some of these red cards for raised foot things.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's just it's a little over the top sometimes.
And yeah, I'm still bitter for the nanny red card.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. What are you going to do?
Well, nothing.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And I'm gonna dedicate this show to Danielle Rabel, who left us on April 1st, lost her battle with leukemia. And she is greatly missed by everyone and was a beautiful human being and definitely a Arsenal fan who came and watched every match with us when she was not on chemo or radiation. And again, like I said, it's a beautiful human being, will be missed by all. And thanks, guys. That's it.